I'm Karceno. Oh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
No one knows Karceno and none of these.
There's so much going on in the world, and I'm just giving my 2 cents on it. Go in and do a raid at someone's house, but you don't have an arrest warrant for them. Silence. What's up, y'all? Hit the like button. We got a show for you tonight. Gosh, my goodness, I've never seen my phone blow up so much. Ticket, this is your fault. Ticket TV, this is your fault. You got my phone blowing up while I'm in the movie theater. I was watching Conclave. I'm in there watching the movie. And what's crazy, like this was like right after I end my stream. I said, all right, I got to get up. I got to go to the movie. Boom, Conclave is finna come out. While I'm in the movie, my phone just going on. And I got link after link after link to your live stream. So shouts out to your live stream, bro. I appreciate it. Because I know you probably gonna do like 200,000 views tonight. They gonna make sure I don't do no views tonight. They gonna be like, anybody but him. Don't let him get any views tonight. So shouts out to him for what he was able to do. Now, I didn't get a chance to see it because I was in the movie. So when I got out of the movies, I was like, all right, let me ride home, listen to what Ticket and everybody's saying. Then I hear the person who said it, Johnathan Hay. And I said, oh, no. Now, Johnathan Hay is somebody we know of. He's the male version of Jaguar Wright. Okay, for the past like 8-10 months, this is what he's been doing. He normally been attacking Jay-Z and Rihanna. It was like Rihanna, Jay-Z, Rihanna, Jay-Z, Jay-Z. He was mostly about that than anything. This is the first time I heard him mention LeBron James' name. And if I'd have heard that, I would have jumped up too. But so when he said LeBron, I said, oh my God. Now we got some motivation. Now, here's the news. All right. I hope it's true. You don't know how bad I want that to be true. Oh my God, I would die laughing. I would die laughing because you got to understand when this whole thing with Adele came out with the relationship with Rich Paul, what did I tell y'all? I told y'all specifically. I told y'all firsthand specifically. I said, I don't believe this relationship with Rich Paul. This is a business relationship because they just signed to do a company. They signed a company deal with Adele. Now, they all the way through. So they did all of that. And they said, well, right. But they did all of that, and nobody really truly knew what was going on with that business deal. You know, I see stuff that pop up all the time because it gets sent. People forgot they did a business deal together. Next thing you know, they're in a relationship and have been in a relationship, which was pretty weird. Now, who is Johnathan Hay? He's like a producer. He creates songs. Like he produced records. Johnathan Hay is a person who he works for many artists as being a publicist. And you know what a publicist is, right? A publicist is like someone that just pushes publicity. They're a publicity agent. And that's what they really should be called in Hollywood. They're not really publicists. And like this thing here, they're publicity agents. So what is a publicity agent's job? Their job is to push a narrative for their client. Whether it's true or false, they have to present this to the public to clean things up for them. And 9 times out of 10, there are fabricated stories. So before we move forward, just wanted y'all to know exactly what a publicist does. Okay? So now that you know what a publicist does, now let's get around to what the publicist said. This person is the former publicist of Drake, Rihanna, and many more. Here we go.
Who was friends with Diddy, who's with Lebron Adele, who was friends with Diddy, who's with LeBron James's manager, Rich Paul, who are all connected to CJ Wallace and the notorious Big Estate. All those people are complicit, and you know Rich Paul and Adele are on the tapes, the Diddy tapes that the FBI have seized. So let's see if we see these tapes and Adele is identified. But I can tell you one thing. Adele, LeBron James, and Rich Paul are all freaking out and shitting bricks because they're on the tapes. I need to address.
Now, this person says they're freaking out because they're on the tapes. Is that why LeBron James said he's sick? This is why LeBron ain't feeling so well, huh? You sick, Bron? Bron, like, man, y'all told me I went on that tape. Y'all told me it got erased. Y'all told me it ain't there no more. LeBron, I gave y'all some money to make it go away. Yes, $25 is not. Man, I gave him an autographed shirt, man. Autographed shirt, $25. All right, $30. And an autographed Cavs hat. But that's it.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah.
That's it.
So now that so now let's get to this. I know, calm down with your conspiracy theories. That's not what happened to Britney. Now, let's get to the overall story of this, because this needs to be said, because you have to listen closely to what he was saying. He's saying that they're on the tapes and they have the tapes. I'm quite sure there are a lot of people on the tapes that they seized. Like Jay-Z would be on those tapes, Beyonce would be on those tapes. A lot of people be on those tapes, but are they on the tapes doing something illegal? like participating in a freak off. Now, he said that they were. That's where I have a problem with it. I believe that they do have the tapes, and they do probably have them at a party Diddy is at, but them being on a freak off tape, no. I don't believe that at all. And here's a person who's never been around LeBron James, probably never been around Rich Paul either. I know he's been around Adele only once, I believe. Once. And he was going to do some work for Adele. And then she went with Rich Paul now. But he claims to have this information about Adele, and he would know Adele a lot better than me. But I knew some people that she like rode with, and he was right about one thing. She's not the person a lot of people think she is. She's very insecure, control freak. And I know people that when she had Rolling in the Deep, when her first hit album was out, we knew of her then. She didn't take herself that seriously. But yeah, there was a lot of people around her then that was like trying to help her out. And situation was a little weird at the time, the way she acted. Very, different. Meaning I can't really say too much. But one of his things about her that he's about to say is kind of confirmed. That I know he's right about something.
The situation between Adele and I. Over the last few years, her fans have hit me up asking about our quote unquote relationship because they saw in the news that Adele and I were together. And then after they read about Adele and I together, she immediately hooks up with Rich Paul.
Now, let that know what that is. Now, remember, he's a publicist. So what is a publicist's job? A publicist's job is to put stuff out there That's right. Now publicist's job is about that they trying to sabotage like crazy. Now, here's a publicist's job. Yep, here they come. There they go. Right on time. Right on time. Now, a publicist's job is to provide the public with information. Right? Not, remember, don't have to be true or false. Their job is to put out said information. Yep, the sabotage game is on, baby. Now, yeah, trying to glitch me up. Don't blame me. I'm the messenger. Me and Ticket, we just the messengers here. Now, he said there was a press have that because you gave it to them. You are a publicist. You put it out there to try to allude that Adele has a new boyfriend when you guys met up there, and you put that out there. That was going to blow you up. It was like, oh, Adele's got a new guy. Like they wanted to change the topic to have something going with Adele. But made a thing with Rich Paul, and next thing you know, that reverts. Now, everything he got is gone in the water now. He never was really her publicist. He was like, he's like a freelance guy, like a hired gun. Like he was there for Rihanna before she made Umbrella. Michael Jackson's last album after he died, he got a song on there or something he did, so he got a point off the album or something. He's basically a hired gun for help. Drake hired him to help him out with his baby mama situation, to try to clean her up, because Drake was going through the thing, and he got blamed for the Pusha T incident. Y'all didn't know that. Drake got mad at him, thought he leaked. Right. Shah the Prince is with Kanye. So if Shah the Prince is with Kanye, they assume he was the mold. So the whole thing with Adonis and Drake and them was thinking it was him because he was one of their songbirds. If you look at academics now, academics would be a Drake publicist. Maul would be a publicist. These people really don't know nothing about these people. Drake and academics have never met, but he acts as if he met Drake and does whatever Drake asks him to do. So he's a publicist. Most publicists, some of them don't even meet the people they're working for. Nowadays, they don't even have to meet. They might FaceTime. They talk on the phone. These guys never really meet. Not trying to discredit him, because he's actually got his credit. So I can't discredit what he is. Now, so because they're doing these activities and things that don't make any sense to people, in a perfect world, in a perfect storm, this man has come forward to present this information out to the world. But why now? Why now? Because see, when Drake went after this guy, Drake was mad at him for a while because he thought he sold him out with the Adonis and the baby mama. He signed a confidentiality agreement, non-disclosure confidentiality agreement with Drake. So he's not allowed to talk about those subjects. So he was like, you leak that information, you're going to be in trouble. You know Shah the Prince and Shah. He's like, I haven't told Shah anything. I don't know how Pusha T got. So Pusha T ended up getting that information, and Drake started realizing that he did tell Kanye mostly all this stuff, but they thought it was him. But when Kanye said he didn't say it, then he started thinking about where else could it come from? Then put Yeah, why in the world are they trying to freeze me up for? You see that? Why they keep trying to freeze me? That's the crazy part. All of this stuff to try to freeze me up. Now, all of these things that this guy is alleging, right? These words are from him. Take it up with him. Right? They trying to do your boy in, man. They trying to keep y'all from hearing this, man. This is crazy. All right, now we back, refreshed, ready to go. They trying to hack your boy. They trying to hack me. So y'all already know what time it is. You know when they trying to hack, they coming with it. So now, here's the thing. After that information came out, this guy has been looked at and he's been going off on Jay-Z, saying Jay-Z need to be locked up. He was going at Jaguar Wright for a while. Now I guess those two have talked. Now they all in cahoots. Now him and Jaguar Wright are connected and they like, yeah, we gotta get these guys and take them down. And it's weird. They were like, they mad at Jaguar, but they ain't said nothing about this guy, Johnathan Hay. And this was no, this is called hack. They trying to hack. Crazy. So while this guy's being a publicist and trying to team up with people like Jaguar Wright, and they're spreading this message on platforms all around. Now you got to ask yourself, why are they doing this? But this person here, from my knowledge, has never met LeBron James.
Now, let me just say this. I can't stand Adele. I can't stand Rich Paul. Rich Paul represents LeBron James. Adele, Rich Paul, and LeBron James were all friends with Diddy. They were all at Diddy's parties. Adele, Rich Paul, LeBron James all participated in the freak-offs. She told me that her and Diddy used to smash, and she would tell me things about how Diddy used to like to watch her with other men that she was cheating on with her husband, Simon. Let me tell you this. Adele is not a good person. Like Adele has got the public fooled. Adele is somebody at the Diddy parties with her fiance, Rich Paul, LeBron James's manager. I don't mess with Adele because of who she is and who she is as a person and how she got down and the fact that she was such a weird freak and the fact that she is a addict. Yes, Adele is an addict. She was at the Diddy parties. She had sex with Diddy, and she was around Diddy with Rich Paul and LeBron James.
Now, woo! to me. Fair Use Act, Fair Use Act. I am not responsible for anything that this man is saying out of his mouth. Okay? That man, Johnathan Hay, has said these statements out of his mouth. Take it up with him. I am relaying the message. Now, let me get to this point here. I do not believe him. I don't believe him. LeBron James and Adele and Rich Paul are not going to be at Diddy's house in a freak off. It's never going to happen. That's fantasy. Now, were they at a party together? Yes. But you're not going to convince me that 3 or 2 of the most popularized superstars are going to say, let's get down. I'm not buying it. The way he's saying it, if you listen to his tone, he's saying it as if he's reading something. See, if this was something real and natural, it would just flow. It could just flow. But he's not. He's saying it word by word. He's saying you never know. That's right. We may never know. Believe me, if anybody wanted this to be true, that the feds got LeBron James on tape doing something, oh my goodness. You talk about manna from heaven. I'll be getting him out the league tonight. Tonight. Get him off my court. That I would tell you 100 times in a day, like, hey, get him off the court. But the way this guy said it, LeBron James, Rich Paul, Adele, they were all at Diddy's house in a freak off. And it's like, what? Dude, the dude is saying it word for word, like he's reading something. Trust me, he doesn't like Adele. He probably got fired, didn't like it, disgruntled publicist, period. For him, all his stuff he's been saying about Jay-Z has been off the wall. Jay-Z is a cuckold. You know, trust me, this dude has been out here for a minute. That's why I have stopped. It's like me talking about Jaguar Wright all the time. I don't do it. You see why I don't, right? Because they say so much stuff that's just way out of bounds. Some of it is truth wrapped around a whole bunch of theory. Now, the only thing, this guy has never been around LeBron. I could tell. 2, if he has been around Rich Paul and them, they wouldn't let that guy in their circle. They wouldn't let that man in their circle at all. No way. So he wouldn't have been there. I don't want to say this, but yeah. I know somebody that used to give Adele it's not even drugs. Like she used to buy some dro, some kush. Oh my God. So this back when she was rolling in the deep. She was the biggest song. She had the #1 song in the world. Rolling in our deep. She was about 300 pounds then. She was rolling in the deep with a bucket of chicken. Yeah, no, it wasn't just weed, dog. I ain't want to put his business out. Well, you already know him. He's deceased now. So that's why I said I could go ahead and say it because he's deceased. but you know about it. If you're on my Patreon, you already know. You know, my guy who was worked for WWE. So, right. You already know. Rest in peace to my boy. Now, yes. No, she was down to earth then. She was by. This is Adele. She had the #1 song in the world. She just showed up at an award show and just won. She wasn't supposed to be there. She was nominated, but she wasn't going. She was just kicking it. It was like, you got an award show going on. And she went over there and did it. I wasn't there, but he was like, "Dude, I'm kicking it with Adele. We blowing trees." Her friends, she had the dudes with her. They was blowing trees with everybody. And he the dude, you know, shoot. So, yeah, he was that guy. Yeah, he was the cushion master. He smoked out Cheek and Chong. That's right, Edwin. You are 100% correct. So, yes, he definitely got her on the level. Trust me. When you got the good stuff, the A-listers will come to you. All right. So, yeah, it was fun times. They were in Arizona at that time. I think they were in Arizona when that happened because he told me about it. That's the only reason I know is because he told me. Like, dude, you won't believe who was here blowing trees with me. So, yes, hit the like button too. And don't forget to go to the Patreon. So, because this thing is sticking a lot. Now, this man has been going on about this situation and said it in a quite, a number of ways that really knows what he's talking about.
Who was friends with Diddy, who's with LeBron James, his manager, Rich Paul, who are all connected to CJ Wallace and the notorious Big Estate. All those people are complicit. And you know, Rich Paul and Adele are on the tapes, the Diddy tapes that the FBI have seized.
If they're on there, if they're on the tapes that were seized, how do you know? Who told you? If they're on the tapes, how do you know? Who leaked that to you? The publicist. If they have Adele on that tape and she getting down there, she rolling in the deep. And she want the BBC, and she out there getting, she going there for a whole Mandingo throwdown. And they got the whole Los Angeles Lakers team over there. Tristan Thompson, LeBron, they all taking turns. All right, you run Paul. Yeah. Look, all right. We all gotta take her down. She's ready to go. All right. You get that side, you get that side, you got the wing. All right. I'm bringing the ball, I'm running point. Where I'm at, Daddy. I'm ready to get involved. I like that. I like when you take charge. Stop smacking my butt. So what I'm doing? Oh man, it's crazy. Man, they all be going to work on her, the whole Laker team. Then they be like, "Where Diddy at?" Probably, I don't see Diddy. Where Diddy at? Rich, you see Diddy? No, I don't see. Oh, what you doing? Yeah, take that. Hey! Oh my God, let me stop right now. Let me stop right now. We're going into the danger zone. I like when you wet and squirmy. Saw this oil, I can't even stand up. Brian, hold on to the wall, we slipping. Why did he ain't slipping? Yeah, I'm used to this, baby. Yeah, that's how I like y'all wet. Oh gosh. Oh man, I'm bad, man. Now, I don't believe what he is saying. I do not. And it's because he's made outrageous claims. He was claiming that Diddy was messing around with CJ Wallace, Biggie's son. He's made those allegations. See, if you'd known about this guy, then you would be like, Jay-Z likes to sit there and watch Beyonce get taken advantage of by all these guys, and he just sits there. He's a cuckold. Oh my. What is going on here, man? Like, for real, what is happening around here? Seriously, it's crazy now. This whole internet game got crazy. So whatever it is, he's got a grievance. Anybody who works for anybody who has a grievance, go on the internet and then they just start making up stories. Now, some of the stuff is engulfed in some truth, and then some of it is, fantasy. Because there's no way in the world that you're going to see Rich Paul, LeBron James, and Adele in some type of crazy situation like that. And they're going to have it on tape. They're going to go to someone else's house and do that. It's not going to happen that way. Most of these people, like, some of the stuff they do know, but it gets shrouded with a whole bunch of BS because they have a personal vendetta against somebody. I don't like LeBron James, okay? Everybody know I don't like LeBron James, but I'm not going to lie on LeBron James. I'm not going to sit there and say he did something that I don't feel that he did. I can't do that. I don't think LeBron James did anything at those. He's in a freak off. No, I can't see LeBron in a freak off. It's too much exposure. He has too much to lose. He has a golden image. They're not going to let the guy with the golden image do that. He's not Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya, they knew he had a problem. It's okay. And they just pacified it. Adele is not that dumb. Exactly. Hit the like button for that. But no, Adele, if you don't know Adele, oh yeah, definitely hit the like button. Man, where y'all at? Yeah, the likes are real low. Yeah, y'all got to hit the like button. I know y'all been entertained by this guy telling this crazy breakdown, but please hit the like button. No, I've been around publicists. I've worked with them. Hell, I've been a publicist in most cases. They come to me to use me to get information out. That's basically a publicist. Okay? So trust me, I've worked with other people's publicists. I've worked with Floyd Mayweather's publicists. We put stuff out. Floyd retweeted it. Floyd don't put nothing on his Twitter and Instagram. That'd be somebody else. He got a team that works and does that for him. I had to work with them to put out something that they wanted. I had written something, gave it to them. They sent it back, said, can you put this in there? I said, yep. Submitted it back and forth, working with his team. So I've always been in the publicist world. I just haven't been titled as a publicist. I'm basically helping the publicists do their job. So yes, I have a lot of information in that. I do know exactly what I'll be talking about. Oh my goodness. And I'm like, mostly, well, maybe it's, I got to remember, you guys probably haven't been around and don't remember me from back then. But yes, I come from the boxing world mostly. So being in the boxing world, seeing with, hanging out with Floyd Mayweather and being with Floyd, a lot of you guys don't know, we've been knowing Floyd since 1995. And knowing him through Nate Jones and all of so when he wasn't Money Mayweather then. But if you go and watch the very first thing when he's fighting Oscar De La Hoya, I'm right there next to him. There's thousands of pictures of us everywhere. So it's not a surprise when I'm going out somewhere and I know how publicists work. I know how many assistants do you think Floyd Mayweather has? He has a lot of them that work and do the same type of job. And a lot of them have to basically depend on us to get things done. Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't have to lie. I still got emails, buddy. This is Floyd Mayweather's publicist, the guy who runs his Twitter. That's John Shahidi. So he's like, I'm like, thanks, John. He said, okay. I left him a message, Floyd. And he was like, I'm like, thanks, John. And I'm like, I called him. He's like, which number did you call him on? I still haven't heard back. I want to help. And I said, I called the 917 number. He said, text him on that number and say this, champ, can you please call John? He said he can't post until he gets your approval. Done. And he's like, no, I've called him 3 times. So this is us working. We're doing work to put stuff on Floyd Mayweather's page. So as you can see, as I told you, I'm involved. A 100%. Mm-hmm. So yeah, John is a business partner. And he does some publicist work, runs social media for a lot of people. Oh, yeah. So a lot of information we had back then was proprietary information. And that's how it was at that time. Now, the thing about us that we seem to all understand is that when we're all doing this work, we all have one goal in mind, and that is to help the client, whoever the person is that you're working for. Your job is to help them. So 9 times out of 10, publicists don't know everything. They're not with them all the time. You know what they tell you. That's it. So for this guy, to some publicists or people that they trust with their information, is people that that's in their circle, and they'll get them to go out and push their agenda. Like Rich Paul is basically a publicist for LeBron James. He's going to push LeBron's message in his agenda. A publicist like son of him, who's a hired gun, they're only going to be hired to do a certain job. You don't have to meet them. You don't have to meet their mom or nothing. You're there to push whatever message they need you to do. They say, hey, call your social media team, whatever, and put this out and spin this whole thing about my baby mom, Sophie, and all of this thing here. Have you noticed they cleaned Sophie up, gave her a real job, started dressing her different instead of her looking like a thot, put her in the gym so that she could look presentable, since she's going to be the mother of Drake's child. Oh, yeah, it was always constant work. When Floyd was in Chicago, I interviewed Floyd Mayweather. Clearly, you can see that right there. I interviewed him. And right after I interviewed him and I sent it to him, he said, did you tweet it? We will retweet you. I said, I just tweeted it. Thanks again. And then they ended up not retweeting the interview. This stuff happened constantly, giving them stuff, going back and forth. So it was a constant battle, because everybody's trying. Do you imagine I'm an independent person? Me and Sean, that's it. And Floyd Mayweather is giving us exclusive interviews and all this stuff. Do you know how much people are, clamoring to get an interview with Floyd? And we got it without really even asking. So, of course, everybody wants that spot. They fighting for it. And I'm just like, damn, like, relax. It's not that serious. Like, I'm like, I don't even care about it. Y'all can go and interview him. I'm cool as long as it get out to the people. Like, I'm more like that. I'm like gonna die over a Mayweather interview. Like, they was really losing their minds.
So let's see if we see these tapes and Adele is identified. But I can tell you one thing. Adele, LeBron James, and Rich Paul are all freaking out and shitting bricks because they're on the tapes. I need
LeBron James, Adele, and Rich Paul are not freaking out. They're not worried about being on the tapes. So they know they didn't do anything. LeBron wouldn't be moving like he's moving if he was worried about these tapes. Yeah, exactly, Chris. I don't believe this guy. And that's just it. I don't believe him. And the reason why is because he's a publicist. And it doesn't mean because you're a publicist, you're right there next to the artist all the time. Some artists, yes. Like smaller artists, yeah, you will be right there side by side doing stuff with them. But other artists, you probably have never met in person. You probably talk to them, and your job is just to be a publicist. Me and John Shahidi, we've never met in public. I'm not gonna say maybe they're not. He said, "How do you know they not? How do I know they're not there? Because common sense tells me that's too much exposure. Being around celebrities and knowing how they move. I've been around Nick Cannon, Keenan and Kel, countless celebrities. Like I could tell you, I've dealt with a lot of their publicists and assistants, and I had to assist their assistants. They were like, can you help me? I'm like, yeah, I'll help you out. I was like, what you need to do is go here and go there. It was plenty of times they came here because they didn't know what to do because they came to Chicago for an event and they didn't know anything. And I had to help them out and they weren't prepped. Like they didn't have no time to prep. They just came here. You saying he didn't lie. When he said the feds got the tape and they're on there and they're in these participating in these freak offs, that's the lie, I believe. You said they did. I believe that part is a lie. LeBron, Rich Paul, and Adele and a freak off. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Hey, Darnell, it would be Christmas for me if that all comes out. If it comes out and Adele, Rich Paul, and LeBron are guilty, buddy, that is Christmas for me. So believe me, nobody, believe me, homie, trust me, you probably new here and don't really know. Trust me, nobody on the internet wants to see this dude go down, probably more than me. But I'm not gonna sit there and lie. I'm believe me, I was happy to hear it. Believe me, I got a lot of messages from all of you, and I appreciate it. Everybody was saying, "Oh, they got him." It was hilarious. Y'all sent the Cash App too, and I appreciate that. My Cash App is Karceno. Cino, we got him. I'm in the movie, and this is a serious movie. I'm watching Conclave, and I'm in the movie watching. That's about the Catholic Church. The Pope died. They're trying to elect a new Pope. And I'm like, man, I'm watching it like, man, okay. Then my phone, and everybody looking at me. I'm like, look, I'm trying to focus. I'm looking at this. Cino, we got him. Cino, Ticket got it. And I'm like, oh my God, this is finna get crazy. This is finna get crazy. Right. Look, Chris already know. Everybody know who know me know I would, but I'm not gonna lie on the man. I won't lie just to see him go down. If you want to go down, it's gonna be for something you did, not something you didn't do. I don't want to see nobody falsely go down for something they didn't do or be accused of something they didn't do. Now, if you ask me if they saying the feds got LeBron on some EPO drug stuff, I'd be, oh yeah, I believe that. I believe Chael Sonnen. Because see, that makes sense. This don't make sense. when freak-offs happen, buddy, a lot of A-list celebrities, people are not going to be there like that unless there are some people you know, but they know that they're private and they move around sneaky, and they'll come there late at night to get down and participate. I don't see LeBron James getting involved in anything that exposure with these many people that could talk. You see, it's too many people around that could talk. And most players or people who have high profiles like his, Diddy has already had a sketchy, wow, he ain't never been married. You know, Diddy was a wild guy. So he was always, it was not weird to see Diddy dating some chick next week, this week. LeBron's got the married, I'm married to Savannah, the kids. He's got that profile. He can't mess that up. Now, we all know this dude is, you know, a cheater, a serial cheater, but he has a business thing with his wife. They have a contract and all of that stuff. So that's fine, but not a contract to do that. Now that's risking everything. You lose that squeaky clean image, you're going to have a Kobe in Colorado incident times 10. How do I know LeBron James isn't there? Because LeBron James and Adele and Rich Paul are not added to the lawsuit as co-conspirators. That's why I know. You see, facts over lies are two different things. If they were in there doing something like that on tape, and what they're trying to allude is that underage people are there. People were being forced into doing things. And you got LeBron, Adele, and Rich Paul there involved. They would have to be charged too as co-conspirators. They would be brought in. None of them have been brought in. None of them are listed as co-conspirators. So they weren't involved in a freak-off. And they don't have it on tape. If they were, believe me, they would be charged. Their names are bigger than Diddy's. Now, you can go to an after party. There's plenty of celebrities at the after party, but you normally go home, and then the people who going to stay there for the freaky time, they're there for freaky time. She ain't dumb enough to get down with Diddy. No, I'm not saying she didn't get down with Diddy before. She probably ain't got wild and did some things, but I don't see her. I don't see her being a part of that. If Adele's gonna date somebody and it's gonna be public like that, Diddy is too much of a public figure. Adele would date someone low key, like the person she had her son with. They didn't even know she was dating that guy. You know, like she dates low key. She's not normally to date somebody high profile like that. Look, she's dating Rich Paul. He basically a walking stooge. You don't normally do interviews and nothing. We didn't hear nothing from him until he started dating Adele. Then he started talking. Yeah, I Rich Paul. I no need no college. I love you, baby. I love you too. You know, that's about all you gonna get out of Rich Paul. So she's a control freak. So she likes to, and he's basically her assistant. And she just needs somebody to push around, bully, and you know, that's just how she is. No. They would have been listed as co-conspirators. Like when y'all tried to say, not y'all, but the people tried to say there was GHB in the baby oil. They found it, and it was all these interviews, the internet just making up all this fake crap. Baby oil, they got him. They got him, Cino. They got him. I'm like, what did they get? The baby oil. That ain't really baby oil. That's GHB. I'm like, they got 100,000 bottles of baby oil, right? Yeah. Thousands of bottles of baby oil. Yeah. But that ain't baby oil. That's GHB. I said, well, do you want to know something? If that's GHB, buddy boy, and they got thousands of bottles, they don't even need no other case. That's automatic multiple life sentences, brother. Multiple life sentences. He hasn't been charged for a single GHB in the baby oil or nothing. They would lead with that when they start announcing the case. That charge, like, yes, and they found GHB and that would be listed. When they bring up anything with Diddy, they would lead with that. And the detectives have found they have GHB into the baby oil. There was none. So everybody who was running with that fake information, where did you get it? Because it was out there. Kanye did that weird video where they were all in the bed together. That was cold. That was part of the same club. He didn't know. Diddy already had that party with a big bed and all of them were laying in the bed. So Kanye West used that for his album cover. Used that same concept. All right, Big E, you hit the like on his way in. That's what I'm talking about.
Need to address the situation between Adele and I. Over the last few years, her fans have hit me up asking about our quote unquote relationship because they saw in the news that Adele and I were together. And then after they read about Adele and I together, she immediately hooks up with Rich Paul. Now, let me just say this. I can't stand Adele. I can't stand Rich Paul. Rich Paul represents LeBron James. Adele, Rich Paul, and LeBron James were all friends with Diddy.
Okay.
They were all at Diddy's parties.
Okay.
Adele, Rich Paul, LeBron James all participated in the freak-offs.
Now you done skid it off the road. Now, why you don't like Rich Paul? Because he took Adele from you and your little publicist story that you made up, which was a lie anyway. You just wanted to get some attention for yourself. And you put out a publicist story saying, who is this guy? Adele is rumored to be in with this guy. And then I guess she didn't like that. And they next thing you know, she was hooked up with Rich Paul. And he's mad. Now, oh, you want to talk, Johnathan? Come on up. I'll drop the link for you. And we can have this conversation. No problem. The link is dropped. Well, yeah, I got tons of questions. Okay, glad to see you, bro.
Hey, what's going on? How are you?
I'm all right. Now,
Good.
I've heard a lot about you in this industry. Know about your credentials a lot. Now, I did have some questions about that whole audio that we heard, and it's gotten a lot of attention because it got on my radar because you mentioned LeBron James' name, and they know I am not very fond of LeBron James, Chris Paul, and everything else. So it kind of got to my attention. So we brought this up. And you said that the feds have the tape of them there and that they were participating in the freak offs. I didn't think that is true whatsoever. How do you know that to be true?
Can you hear me?
I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, sorry. I was getting a crazy echo. You got me now?
Yes, I got you.
All right, so repeat that question. I'm sorry about it.
Oh, the question was you said that LeBron, Rich Paul, and Adele were participating in freak offs at Diddy's house. How do you know that's true? That's true, and that they do have that on tape?
Well, let's go back to Adele and I. So in 2019, it was viral. You know, if you just Google, Adele's name and mine, you'll see that it was out that we were supposedly like in a relationship. The
Right.
Daily Mail said we were dating. The Mirror said we were dating, and it got kind of crazy.
I felt that was your publicist work, like you doing your publicist work. I felt that you were like putting that story out there.
Well, that's just kind of. I mean, I wish it could work that easy where I could contact a publication such as the Daily Mail or the Mirror and just say I'm dating someone and they're going to run with it. Right. They got the information. They contacted me. I said no comment. Adele also said no comment, which basically, raised all the speculation and a lot of people's assumptions because we both said no comment. Right. But so whatever happened between us, like, I don't want to really like get into all that because I've got some like crazy warnings since this stuff has went viral. I'll just say this. So you got to think that if I'm hanging out with Adele and she's on some like real freaky shit, if she's messed up, drunk, high, and we're all together, of course she's going to be showing me pictures of like, this is me and Diddy on her phone. This is me and so-and-so. This is me and so-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so. Like, she's like a real freak. So, I mean, she was showing me pictures of that kind of thing. Then she gets involved with Rich Paul and our shit is like dead, So that's what it is. I saw like photos.
Them getting involved in a business deal. That's why I never really kind of bought the relationship as
it was never a business deal. We were at Quad Studios in New York, and the place where Tupac was shot, and we went right next door to the strip club called Platinum Dolls or whatever. Adele likes to go to strip clubs, and we just hung out in the strip club all night.
Okay.
And we were getting tipsy.
So as far as LeBron and Rich Paul, have you ever had any meeting with them? You ever met them?
So
Or
I know Rich Paul when Adele started dating him. And
okay,
then, I'm from, my biological mother is from outside of Cleveland. So I have a lot of friends in Cleveland, Ohio, and I know about, Rich Paul's history and some of his stuff that, that he's been involved in.
okay. So you don't know LeBron. You never met LeBron.
I've never met LeBron James.
Okay. And that's what I kind of figured, because when you said that all three of them were participating in a freak off, that's when I'm like, okay, now I couldn't see that happening at a Diddy party with them staying there doing it because of LeBron's high profile as far as him being the family man. He has too much to lose there to risk doing such a thing. And I don't like the man, but I know how much he
Well, well, yeah, I don't mean to cut you off. That's also because Diddy parties that back then, those were the parties to be. That's not like the parties that we know of now. Like the Diddy parties that we know of now is like crazy, sinister, dark, freaky. Back then, Diddy parties were just, the place to be. Everybody wanted to go to it. It wasn't anything that anybody thought could turn into some kind of criminal conspiracy.
well, yeah, pretty much sometimes. Because no, a lot of this stuff is going back like 15 years.
Right,
Like,
right.
yeah, so the thing about it is that there was basically a network opportunity. That's what his parties were for, like in
Right.
the Hamptons in New York or whatever. But when you tie all of this together, it's really a bigger story when you, especially when you say that. I can't omit the fact that I feel he's being targeted a lot because of what's happening with the liquor company. I cannot omit all that things because they've had other information on other people that they are just now starting to bring out, like the Abercrombie and Fitch guy, and other people that they know. These people know what's going on in this industry. So if they know that, why are they protecting certain people but going after somebody else and making them out to be the biggest monster in the game, knowing that Diddy isn't the biggest monster in the game? I know he's a freak. We all know Diddy's a freak, and he has wild parties. He's been doing that for years, having these wild things going on, and guys, girls. I just don't believe these civil lawsuits. I just really don't. A lot of them. I believe that these people were all with it. Everybody there knew what was going on. They wanted to participate. They wanted to be there for that moment. Now that they see an opportunity to get some money, that's why I see no criminal cases, only civil cases. He hasn't been charged with anything additional. You still have only one victim in a 14-page RICO case. It does not make sense. They would have added more charges by now. They would have added more victims by now. The trial started in May. So it's a lot of question marks in this situation. What did you feel about it?
Well, listen, I can just tell you what I know. So 2019, after whatever that was ended, right? And we done Eric B. and Rakim that you mentioned. We were number one on Billboard Jazz for 11 weeks. So obviously we're hot, right? And everybody was like, after Eric B. and Rakim, you should do another hip hop icon. So being in Brooklyn, we chose the Notorious Big. So when we started working with the Biggie camp, right? And that was in 2020, 2021. Well, they, of course, wanted to turn that into marketing about like Adele and I dating. So they were trying to rectify the situation. CJ Wallace is in LA, right? Along with Willie Mack, and the Biggie estate is based in LA. So they're trying to like fix the situation. CJ Wallace is obviously Biggie's son, who was Diddy's best friend. So they're also giving me information, inviting me to Diddy's parties. But as I said, then they weren't considered anything illegal or criminal, right? During the pandemic, Diddy's parties were crazy, right? Because I was always getting the invitation to go with CJ Wallace to the parties, but I was in Louisville, Kentucky at the time. So when I went out there, my girl and I, we ended up going to like raves. We didn't go to the Diddy parties, you know.
Okay.
So
All right.
I've been in the, you know, I've been in it and seen it on both sides. And you know, everybody, that's when we started to hear about like, yo, it gets freaky, it gets kinky in the Diddy parties, da 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 da. You know, Adele, she's with Rich Paul, you should come. Rich Paul's a good dude, y'all like each other. Blah 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 blah. That type of thing. Like they wanted to meet, but I just really wasn't about like meeting, you know, Rich Paul. I was like on some like sour shit, to be honest, you know.
Oh, okay. So
And I say sour because like when the rumors hit about Adele and I, like all my family, all my friends were like, yo, you and Adele, you and Adele. And then when she gets with Rich Paul, it was like, damn, bro, she played you, she left you, da 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 da. So I just wasn't, you know, with all that stuff. I was focused on the Biggie project.
okay, yeah, because I thought you were bitter because you know you lost the opportunity to work with her.
No,
Because
I was never working with her.
okay, because that's what I
We
was
were
saying.
we met at the studio and then it went from there. And she liked to go to strip clubs and she liked to, you know, get high. And the girl that I was dating was a stripper.
Yeah, I had a buddy that used to, you know, provide a lot of people with some good kush. Then she was one of the people that that partake.
Yeah, listen, she likes the C word, the K word, the M word, all of them.
Uh,
You know, I don't know what you can say on YouTube, but
yeah,
you know, she was also going through the divorce with Simon. And like really when that story came public, I didn't want it to become public because that's what deaded any kind of possibility for anything, even if because I did want to work with her, right? That's before it got like crazy weird. So once the stories came out, that deaded everything. And it got really toxic and really weird. So I'm out here like on my future shit, you know.
right. So I know after that stuff started going viral, what kind of warnings have you been getting since then?
Just that, you know, I need to stop talking and like, you know, people are trying to like work it out and you're not understanding and yada yada. But I do have a clear understanding. And this has nothing to do with LeBron James because I do like LeBron James. I don't like Rich Paul.
I don't
But
like either one of them. They come in hand.
I don't. But just like as a basketball player, I'm from Kentucky, so you know we're all about the basketball, you know.
Right. As a
So,
basketball player, I don't like them at all.
but you know, LeBron, I hear you, but LeBron James, like, so it has nothing to do with him, you know. It's more about Rich Paul and Adele, and obviously Rich Paul represents LeBron James.
Okay. All right. So now I know you've worked with Drake.
Correct.
Right. And you said even as recent as this year, you've done some work with Drake. I know
That's
you
correct.
probably can't talk too much about it because Drake makes everybody sign an ND CA, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you probably can't disclose too much, but I'm going to assume that it has something probably to do with his baby mother. And I was telling them before, like it was glitching a little bit. They probably didn't hear me. Back in the day, you know, when the push your teeth thing, they were blaming you. You were the one that was being blamed for exposing the Adonis situation. Can you
That's
speak on that?
That's correct. Well, what's wild is, you know, I'll say this about the Drake stuff. When I was working with Drake at the beginning of the year, when they brought me on to do something, it was for that damage control when the pictures leaked. Because once again, I'm provided this information that don't answer. When Drake, when he had his, you know, shit out and on, you know, his plane and like his dick pics when he put that out. Do you remember
Yeah,
that? And
yeah,
everybody was talking about it, but that wasn't even him, right? Like he tried to take credit for it on his story. Like that was a prosthetic. That was like a joke. I know that because I
yeah.
know the source of the picture, and I know that wasn't, you know, his junk. No Diddy, pause, all that kind of thing.
I knew from the I've seen this done before, so I already know as a
Right. But
PR thing.
it's like I didn't leaked that out. Drake leaked that out. You know, he wanted people to think that of him. So it's like weird when they're coming down on me when he's leaking a fake picture of his joint, you know, that he wants people to think it's him. And that's like trending for 2 days. I thought that was like, you know, whack. And so, of course, I start hearing from Drake's lawyer, and then, you know, we talk, and, you know, they, you know, whatever.
Right. Got to put NDAs on everything because
I have no issue with Drake's baby mother. Sophie is a really good mother and a really good woman.
Okay. Well, that's good because I thought you came in to meet Drake through her. Is that how that happened?
It was kind of both, right? I already knew of Drake and already knew of his manager, Future the Prince, and that's how it kind of happened. So they brought me on to help with her because they didn't believe it to be real. So I was it was like a baby mama claim because he had several people come out. Several women come out and say they were pregnant with this baby, as a lot of celebrity men do, and it just wasn't true. So this was like another one. Put this on watch. Let's see how it goes. Talk to her, you know, comfort her. Let's see what's real or what's not.
Right. So that was basically your job. I've had this job many a times. Like I have been publicist without even being titled. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm not even. Because I had a boxing, I still got a boxing website. So I came in through the boxing world and being around Floyd Mayweather while he was growing up. So in this boxing game. So I was representing, and I was telling them earlier, when on our site, I was working with his publicist, the guy who runs his social media. And we're looking at, you know, targeting things to put out that we're supposed to do to highlight certain events that they had going on. They had ideas and meetings. And so I'm basically doing the work for the publicists. I'm like, you're check, but I'm doing all the work. So it was cool because we was helping Floyd, and that was like somebody that we grew up with. But watching these other assistants that they had, and some of them are clueless. They have no idea of really what they're doing. They just know them so well that they put in a circle, and they need somebody outside to do that. But what people in this chat probably don't know is that you're also a producer, like all the jazz albums. Like they don't really know too much about it. Can you tell them about some of the albums and work you've done?
So like as like a publicist, I was always in the studio, especially, you know, coming in the late 90s. I was like a kid when, you know, we got our first record deal, and I really didn't know what I was doing. So being that the industry was a lot different then, I was always being a publicist. I was always around music, and I was always around the studio. And then I started producing, and it was kind of like a hobby. It was kind of like stress relief because, like, when I do like the publicity, it's like you feel, when I was doing it back then, you know, you feel like it just feels fake. Like the things that you're saying, you know, you've got to put out stuff. You got to craft narrative. So it always made me feel dirty, even though it paid well. So I would produce music with some of like my hip hop heroes that was like authentic, that was like my true self, that wasn't about, you know, getting on popularity. So I just like did a lot of like jazz and like underground people, like, you know, Crooked Eye.
Yes, the Wu-Tang. You were actually with the Wu. I was like, man, I didn't know you was working with the Wu.
So I had a Prince, Inspector Deck, like all those people. Yeah. So I got to work with my heroes and stuff, you know, and then with AI and everything else, you know, the music industry is just like so crazy. So over the last few years, I've just been like really, really laying low, not doing anything. And then this year I kind of like woke up and I was like, I'm gonna bomb on everybody. Now it's time.
Yeah, I really haven't heard like the biggest thing was, you know, the home invasion thing.
Correct.
That you went through. That was the most massive thing I heard about you at that time.
Right.
And then after that, it was like you were gone for about 2 years, seemed like.
Correct.
I didn't see nothing from you after the home invasion. And I'm glad you survived that. You know, that's a horrific situation, but you basically spun that around and, you know, you put out a tape. Didn't you put out a tape called Home Invasion or something?
Yeah, we put out some music, just put out some jazz stuff, just trying to heal from that because it it was very traumatic, right? And then I was doing an interview with Jaguar Wright on Real Life, and she started talking about the home invasion, and she told me that she felt like Drake was involved, and I never thought about him being involved. And then we spoke offline, and she was telling me about how she saw it on the dark web, which I guess she saw like my case files. And obviously, like when you're in a home invasion and the police are investigating, there's going to be case files, and there was calls to Drake, to Future the Prince, and Sophie, and all that stuff. So the police, which keep in mind is in Louisville, Kentucky, they're like, "What do you mean you're talking to Drake? What do you mean you're doing stuff with Drake?" Like they didn't believe any of that stuff, so they put it in the case files. So that's where she saw it. But then when fans started coming forward and be like, Drake's been taunting you and Sanders Rose and Drake's this, that, I started to put it together, and I realized like, damn, dude, this guy is so petty that because I'm working with his baby mama, right, that, he's going to go and work with my ex and pay for her lawyer, which is like $130,000 to sue me. So like the whole shit's been crazy, bro. I went to like a real, dark depression, and now it's like I'm back, and like I said, I'm bombing on everything that.
Yeah, I'm seeing that you've
corrupt.
been going off. I've seen you go off on Jay-Z and mentioning Rihanna. You just been going off on what's bringing upon like I don't even know. How do you get to that? Because I know you worked with Rihanna back on when she first was young. She had to be like 16 or 17 at that time, right?
Correct. On the replay, the first single.
Right. So like on her first single. So how does this even entwine with the Jay-Z accusation that you brought up?
Well, because I've met Jay-Z and I worked with Jay-Z before Rihanna, and I worked with him on A Mill, the rapper, that was on a lot of his big early hits. So that's how I came in contact with Jay-Z, and I used to talk to him, all the time. He used to charge like $10,000 for interviews. And so I would like book him for all these interviews and make a little cut, like magazines and publications. And this is back in, 2004 and 5. So I just stayed working with, stayed close to him. And then like that stuff just got so weird that I witnessed with Jay-Z. And I don't want to that's the thing is like a lot of people are saying like I hold back stuff. And I do a little bit because a lot of people don't want to be brought into this. So I can only tell like a certain amount of things that I know and that I've witnessed. But yeah, Jay-Z is definitely a cuckold, right? Like I've seen that.
You've seen it live.
No, listen, not like I've been there, like he's watched me or anything. Not like I've watched him. I'm not about all that, right? I'm about, like I'm real like jealous. I'd never let my girl be with another man. That's crazy.
Right. I couldn't do that either. I didn't want to be in the same room with somebody else doing
that's crazy. So like Jay-Z, he's just he's a wicked person, man. And Jay-Z and Diddy, bro, and Biggie, they were all foul people. And then Biggie dies, and Diddy and Jay-Z, like once you knock them down, I think the industry is going to be a lot better place.
Well, the thing is that he rarely does anything anymore. So it's like he's he's way too much in a profile for that. But to say he's a cuckold, that was the biggest shock I probably have heard. Now I know the reason why he's so private about every little thing that he does. So if he does anything, he wants everybody gone, and it'll be him and just that person. Anyway, I'm not gonna say nobody's gonna know, but it'll just be like just him and the other person. Now,
but this is what you got to realize. I'm not talking about the Jay-Z now, and I'm not talking about the Ray J now, because like Ray J hasn't been. I don't know. He hasn't been relevant in years, right? I mean, we saw the Kim Kardashian and the tape that he made with her. I'm talking about the Jay-Z 2005, 6, 7, 8, 9. When I did know him, when he wasn't as high profile as he is, like him and Beyonce, when he was a rapper, and that's when his focus was being the best rapper there is. So that's the Jay-Z that I know, who was inviting my ex at the time to be, get down with stuff. And I know that Ray J was with Beyonce from being involved with the Kardashians, right? Because I used to work with the Kardashians. So I know all these things from being in the industry. So that's why I'm out here blowing the whistle. Because it's corrupt.
I mean, if you're trying to blow the whistle to expose this, aren't you like worried about the fallback, the blowback, and everything?
No, not from these artists, not from these industry. I mean, not from this industry. It's too corrupt. I don't care about any of them.
Oh man, now
yeah, I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, home of Muhammad Ali, son. Like I don't, I float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, bro. I don't care about any of these guys. Diddy's down now. Jay-Z's got to come down, and then it's going to be a much better industry.
I don't know why why are they so hell bent on taking Jay down? Jay's not going to go anywhere. Like that's it. They can try all they want. Jay ain't going nowhere. They're not going to be able to get Jay.
Listen, they got Diddy. They can get Jay.
No, Diddy tried to extend too much. Jay-Z knows his place. Diddy tried to expand an enterprise, and that wasn't going to happen. He bit the hand of the people that were protecting him and feeding him. He thought he was at their level, and they had to show him, just like Kanye West did, and they had to smack him down and to reality. And this same thing just happened to Diddy right now, and he sees now that, yeah, you've done way too much, and they could expose to the world. And once they got all the goods on you, and they know all about these freaky, crazy parties, and they'll use all that against you. And look at what's happening to him now.
Yeah, no.
I mean, if let's say he wins the case, he can't do anything anymore. Like he won't be in any industry parties. It just nobody want to be photographed with him. Nothing. He can't do anything anymore. He's completely gone. But I don't even see Jay and them two being a problem. The problem in the industries is people are omitting the people around them that are the CEOs and the guys that actually are the presidents and CEOs of these companies that cut them their checks. These guys are the guys. I know you we all know who they are.
Correct.
The parties, it's their parties. These CEO of these record companies that bounce around from label to label, and they put their friends as vice president of the companies. They're the ones throwing these parties and putting all this stuff together so that all of this would happen. The people who are cutting Diddy and Jay-Z the checks. These are the people that like I know.
Now those are the people I'm scared of. That's the they. When they say they,
one of the guys is in charge of YouTube.
I'm scared of all them. I'll never speak on none of them. So it's like maybe I'm being fake too because I'm whistleblowing on everybody.
What I'm saying, right? It's easy to whistleblow on basically the talent and the artists, but what about the people that's above them? Those are the problem. So if you want to drain the swamp, you got to start with that circle.
You're right.
Getting them out ain't gonna do anything. They'll just replace them with somebody else.
You're right. Yeah, maybe I need to chill. Maybe I need to fall back. You're right. I got you. Listen, I've got to leave here because I've got to run out, but I appreciate, you, and I appreciate that. I just want to kind of clear that up. When I did that interview, I was slow because I wasn't reading. I was just really faded. And somebody asked me to address the situation. So I had that good kush that you're talking about that Adele liked. I was faded. My girl was like, yo, you should record that over. I was like, it's too late now. I already sent it off. So
well, at least they glad you came up, man, and now you've explained it to them. And now everybody's like, oh, okay, now it makes sense. So now, so He said it. He got it all out. Now he knows he can just fall back now and just.
That's it. That's it. You're right. I gotta chill. But thank you so much, bro. Really appreciate what you're doing.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for coming up.
All right.
All right. Appreciate
All
you.
right,
Have a good night. That's right. That's Johnathan Hay. He came up himself. See, now if LeBron would just do that, we can get to the bottom of things. LeBron ain't gonna do that. Now I'm not credible at all. Why am I not credible? Every question y'all had in the chat, I asked him. He answered everything. And the things you didn't know about that I already knew about him, we talked about. What are you talking about? We had a great conversation. And then we got a lot of clarity. He gave a lot of clarity to a lot of things. No, he said he knew firsthand about Jay-Z being a cuckold. I could, that's my thing is like, I can't see Jay doing that. But he says he knows firsthand. He said he's definitely a cuckold. So I said, okay, that's his opinion. I can't change that for him. He said, oh, not me. He talking about Johnny. Oh, okay. You talking about somebody in the chat. Oh, yeah, he came through and clarified a lot of things. And him being a publicist in the game and a musician and everything else, I knew that, but I knew he didn't meet LeBron. Remember I told you, I said, I don't think he met LeBron James. He might have met Rich Paul, but I told you, I don't think he met LeBron because LeBron would not really bring him into his circle like that. LeBron is very, like, only his guys and people, like, yeah, they don't let like a bunch of new people in their circles at all. Yeah, now, right. Now we said it at the end because I'm like, it's the people above them. They're the guys that's cutting the checks. And he's like, look, those are the guys I'm scared of. You see? Because I told you, those are the people with the power. Jay-Z, Diddy, those are the people who have the illusion of power. They have no power. The people that cutting them the checks, those are the people, that's that 1%. Okay? Jay-Z and Diddy, they got to work every day. They got to. Those guys don't have to work. They just make sure you're working for them. That's it. They're powerful. Because he knows what I know. We both know who those people are. Now, I tell you those people on the Patreon. Now, y'all all know that. Y'all all signed up to my Patreon. We've already told them. Like I said, one of the guys runs YouTube, YouTube Music hired him. So we already know that. And the other guy, all his friends, they all work under him. He put them in charge of record labels, going around buying up the record labels in the music business. No, one of the guys that I know was basically, I think he's the president now of Universal Music. And I'm not saying he's one of those guys. He's the guy that was straight up. And he ended up becoming president. I think he's the president right now. And where this guy came from and where he ended up is amazing. And how I know him. And they was like, the president of Universal? I'm like, yeah, I knew him. Because the guy started off with head of the class. It was Dan Snyder or whatever, Scheider or whatever, and Brian Robbins. And those two ended up doing all that. They went from head of the class and they started doing some TV shows together and they created All That. Now, who was on All That? Kel Mitchell, who lived around the corner from me, who grew up with my cousin. They were in a rap group together. He went to a talent show and got picked up from All That. TLC was one of the people they brought on to be like a producer of the show. They made the theme song. We meet TLC, Left Eye, Chili, all of them. He got the show. The show was in Orlando. He goes all the way out to Orlando to do the show. Brian Robbins is the executive producer of the show, right there with Dan Snyder. Dan Snyder ends up writing some of the script. Him and Brian collaborated, but Brian was mostly worried about the All That show. He did other programming and other shows Dan was running. So this whole thing about the whole Nickelodeon thing that went down, you never really hear anything about Brian because Brian didn't really do anything. Like this was all about Dan and what he was doing with his other shows. When All That was there and he was running it, this is all Brian. So Brian also worked in the music industry and he worked with Def Jam. He did, Russell Simmons was like really good friends with Brian Robbins. Brian Robbins and Russell Simmons created The Show. You remember the movie The Show? He's a director. He directed the movie The Show, and he has all the Def Jam artists would appear on All That and perform. Keith Murray, Method Man. Every week it'll be a new musical guest, and it was a hip hop artist, normally from Def Jam, that would come over. So we met Keith Murray, Redman, Method Man, everybody. So I'm meeting everyone in hip hop. Okay. So now this thing is growing. Brian Robbins now is getting titles as a producer. I mean, as a director and a producer. So now he's directing another film called Hardball with Keanu Reeves. In the Cabrini Green projects, Michael B. Jordan is on the cast. Cabrini Greens in Chicago. Who is from Cabrini Greens projects? Nate Jones, who knows Floyd Mayweather. I know Nate. Of course, you know I know Nate Jones. Don't forget to follow the Nate Jones story too. And right then and there, Brian Robbins is filming the baseball movie. I'm on the set. I see Brian Robbins. I know him from Kenan and Kel. They're doing the show. Me and Brian Robbins talk right there. And he's telling me all the things that was happening in troubles with Kel and this and that. And I'm like, wow. And I'm on the set while they're filming the movie. Now, after this, he moves on to do direct some other movies. Then we lost contact for years. Then he moved on to start running music company again, got back into music. And then he became the president of like Universal Music. I was like, Brian Robbins, you made it. So it's good to see people make it all the way to the top and without going to have to break lines and go through the weirdness. But this is how I've met, and connected with people throughout my life growing up. And this is how I met the artists, met the actors, met all these different people. Like Michael B. Jordan was just another one of the cast of the baseball people. Everybody was there basically to see Keanu Reeves, who was so down to earth. And he at that time when I met Brian, he wasn't on set that day. So when I met him, he wasn't on set at all. So everybody else was over there, and it was a great movie. If you haven't seen Hardball, definitely check it out. Having sex with Puffy is now a crime. Yeah, that's how they're doing it now. It's unfortunate that some of these stories are so unbelievably weird and don't make any sense that they're getting debunked immediately as they come up. As one girl was proven uncredible, and because she's in there texting people, telling them how much money they're going to get, so that was just knocked down. She ruined her whole self by doing that. I really didn't think that would be a case or a bad situation. I thought this would be something that they would handle and it'd be dealt with, but this is something that the federal government wants to do. They want to get a win. They want to get, something out there. And that's why I was like, it's so weird. They went to California, they went to Miami, and the Southern District of New York's got the case. And I'm like, huh? You just raided Florida and California and you chose New York. Why? Oh, well, the Cassie incident happened in New York. Okay. And we're going to make it, they're trying to make it and appear as if there was a freak off situation in the hotel. She was trying to leave and he's trying to pull her back in the room to the freak off. That's what the prosecution is actually trying to do. They argued that in court. That's actually documented. And it is totally easily could be proven false. Oh, Vince McMahon. I mean, come on. Vince has been, if you're on the Patreon, you will hear the story of what happened with my friend that we were just speaking about with Adele. Because this was back in rolling. This is rolling in the deep Adele. I told you that she was way more, she wasn't a big superstar Adele at that time. So she was like low key and in the United States and really cool. Like she was just down. She was not really on that plateau yet. She was feeling like an indie artist. And when they was in Arizona, and she ended up going to an award show. She won an award. She wasn't even supposed to be there. Like she was like, we were just driving by, and I was like, well, I was invited to this thing, you want to go? And they just went to the award show and they won. She was winning anyway. They were just going to accept the award. So she just popped in there and won the award. She was going to win anyway, but they was like, well, I thought you weren't going to make it. And she just popped up, showed it up in there, and sure enough. Yeah, so on the Patreon, you find out my boy, man. He worked for WWE, and he was the guy. He was the guy to see. He had Kush from everywhere because he got to go to Cambodia. He gets to fly from everywhere. And my God, this dude had the best stuff on the planet. And I could tell because I've seen people who smoke. I don't smoke. So I knew it was the real deal because these people who smoke every day couldn't take it. They have dude was like, he's like, I'm high off 3 hits. And this thing is, I've had this whole blunt. I put it out. He's like, dude, I've been working on this blunt for a half a day and I'm gone. I don't know what is this. And I told you, he smoked out Cheech and Chong. They came and got him. Vince McMahon, that's how him and Vince McMahon got cool. And then him and Vince had a falling out. And yeah, so now that all of this has come out, I told everybody what happened. The story they told us was just so we could, they put that out to everybody. But the real story, he told me why he got let go. Of course, buddy. I don't have to leave the house to know anything. You see, this proves it right here. I'm doing all this. Well, I did have to leave the house for the interview, but I do my work here at home and then I'm sending it to him. And he's like, did you tweet it? We will retweet you. This is the publicist and the guy that runs his social media page. And then I tell him, hey, nope, we never got that retweet. This is what we did. I tweeted it. Thanks again. You know, they helping out the boxing page. So this is what we did consistently. Let me tell you about Ashton Kutcher. They're trying to put this together now. Ashton Kutcher used to be at it's a bunch of wild stuff. Yes, he's always been involved. But the thing about it is he hasn't been around in a while. You know, you got to remember he's been married, but let me just put it in a certain tone or a certain way. He's protected. Okay. He's in a Scientology type of thing. So, yeah. So those guys are protected in a certain circle. Like he's not going to be bothered. Now, when the other Scientology brother got busted for all the stuff he was doing, he was using Scientology as a crutch of saying, you can't testify against me or you can't do that. That goes against Scientology. And they was like, look, a crime is a crime. So these women went to the police. They didn't care what Scientology had to say about it. Scientology teaches them that they don't go to the police. You go to the leaders there and then they'll take care of it. They handle everything in house. But dude he was so out of control with what he was doing. He was just using it as a free pass to just take what he wants. And then Ashton Kutcher and them came out and defended him because, you know, they were defending their friends, and then they had all these charities set up. They lost a lot of money, buddy, a lot of money behind that. A lot of people pulled their support from them. They had to come out and make an apology video saying that they didn't know what they know now. And, you know, but it is what it is. Ashton Kutcher ain't been touched. Trust me, he's protected. He would have to mess up and lose that protection. Well, they couldn't make it look like a racial thing when you see them going after. They're like, oh, they're going after Russell Simmons. They're going after Diddy. Now they want Jay-Z, and it's always against the black person. So now they go cash in somebody that they already knew was dirty. The guy from Abercrombie and Fitch. They go grab him, and he gets bond right away, $10 million. He's at home. You're like, what? Well, how is he home with $10 million? Diddy put up 50 and they still got him locked up. Oh, I know all about it because see, Jada, she got 1 foot in, 1 foot out of Scientology. She put her father through it. And he left because they tell you not to believe in Jesus. There's no Jesus. There is no God. Like, it's only science. Everything can be explained through science. Right then and there, I'm checked out. Me and you, no. Then they want to hypnotize you. Jada Pinkett was having people hypnotized. And her father, it got him to stop drinking. He was doing better. His health had gotten better, and she was so happy. He had gotten back, you know, the Scientology helped him, but she was in it for a little while, then she got out. She's still in it. Don't let them fool you. Yeah, they tried to. Will don't want to say that he's in Scientology too, but he had to go there he wanted to repress memories. So they go there and they use hypnotists. They call it hippotherapists to cure you from pain. You might have trauma from childhood and you want to get by it and you can't, and it's affecting your life. You want to stop smoking. You want to get all of these things done and knock them out of the way. These people have it. Older than the sun. Hypnotherapist. Absolutely. He at home right now. And then he pleaded no guilty from the crib. He was out in 10 minutes. $10 million. And he got almost about 500 boys, all boys, him and his partner. Alleged all these boys in these all men party. The Abercrombie and Fitch, they had already let him go as CEO. They said, oh, well, we was having number loss issues. It was like, come on now, this ain't no number loss issue. You know what it is. What I said, mo instead of no. Hypnotherapy. And that's what they use. All these celebrities are using them. They even do witchcraft. It's not a joke. Y'all think this is a joke. Look, every A-list celebrity has about 4 or 5 different weird doctors. They have a spiritualist. They have hostilics, the ones that use the crystals. They get them. You have a shrink. Then they have a psychotherapist. They have all of these different. Then they have a motivational speaker come in and speak with them. I know because I was with the one that is Barack Obama's motivational speaker. Now, Barack Obama give motivational speeches, but he has a motivational speaker. And he's the motivational speaker to Oprah and everybody else in the game. Yeah, his name's Tim Story. Yeah, these guys are. Hollywood is a very fickle place. Oh, yeah. Because when you don't know, you're doomed to repeat the same things over and over again. No, they have motivational speakers that come out at these events. These guys get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars. I believe somebody's mom needed help, and they called him up and said, "Can you speak to my mom?" And they'll pay him to give motivational speeches to people's mothers and everything. I'm telling you, that's how they roll. Oh, yeah. That's Tim right there. Let me see if I can pull him up for you. That's Tim's story. and myself. And that's the other female motivational speaker. That's Natasha Graciano. Powerful voice. She just had a baby too. And they get paid tons of money. No, that's not the movie producer. There's your man. Say no. Right there, live and direct. Oh no, man. We were doing it. I was on the tour. I missed the tour this year. I've been too busy to go on the tour. Last time I had time. So I go there to learn about the 1%, how the 1% work. A lot of things that information they don't get you. But no, that's not the Tim Story, the director. That's Tim Story, the motivational speaker. Yeah. Me, my mom, and my sister at the wedding. That's a classic photo. Let me see. Oh, yeah, the Shark Tank was there. Mr. Wonderful. All right, so I go to the places to learn about business. So when we sit there and guys are giving you information about business, you know, to pay attention to the 1% and how the 1%, there's Tim speaking to everybody, but how the 1% work. Robert Horvath. Most of y'all never saw this stuff. Oh, there's your boy right there. So, you know, the king. The definition of insanity is doing something Gilbert Arenas says do. Well, thanks, Chris. I try to be. You see, the reason that I dislike LeBron James is the reasons that you know right now, like him faking like he's sick because he had a bad game. And just saying, like, man, you had a bad game. You're 39. You can't have a bad night. You can't own it. You can't own it, dog. Anytime this dude fails, it's got to be an excuse. Oh, I broke my hand in game one. That's why we got swept. I couldn't really move my hand. Like, dude, it's like, come on. You put on a fake cast, the whole nine. It's like, this is why we don't like this dude. You know, his ways and actions validate me. That's why I was like, when I was saying this years ago, I'm like, I don't have to. You gonna see it. LeBron's gonna do some more stuff because this is his nature. This is what he does, and it takes away from everything he does because he's so phony. You read that book, Brian? Oh, yeah, good book. Yep, man, powerful read. I'm telling you, it's powerful. Cat Williams paid for information, knowledge, and secrets. Is he going after the people who took out his mentor Prince? I don't think so. You see, here's the thing. People say that they're fearless until they run into fear. No, people appear to be fearless. Not really. People appear to be fearless. They're not really fearless. Look at Cino at the Oscars. Cino got an Oscar. Oh, yeah. George Carlin said they got a club and you ain't in it. Of course not. Look, this is how it works. The rich make money with the rich. The rich don't make money with the poor. They make money off the poor. The 1% makes money with the 1%. They invest and do business with rich people. Why would they do the latter? To answer your question, why don't rich people go and help out the poor people and help your buddy become rich? And listen, it's a whole different thing. Yes, you're going to want to have a partner with you, but you don't want to take somebody who's broke and give them money and say, okay, now you're rich with me. That creates a problem because they still have a poor mentality. Because, see, you didn't teach them how to maintain the money. See, you just giving it to them. So they'll burn through that and they'll be right back in your face. Hey, man, yeah, that was good, but I think I need another loan. You know how they say teach someone to fish? So they don't need you. Right, they don't need you to keep feeding them. They can feed themselves and become self-sufficient. Now, you can help somebody, but not help them become rich. Michael Jordan is a billionaire. His sister's kids, they got to work. They got jobs. His cousins, they got jobs. Michael Jordan owned Jordan Brand, right? His kids was on the board, right? They can't make no decisions. Marcus got mad and left Jordan Brand and wanted to do his own thing because Nike was controlling all the decisions. No, that was Usher. It was a clone. No, that's Usher. They kept saying Usher had to get stitches in his butt and all that. I don't know. That's Jaguar's thing. The thing about Usher is that I do know about him is that for him, he has to keep a six pack. And if he eats certain foods, he gets bloated. And he's got to perform on stage. And when he's on tour, you don't have a lot. So what he would do is they would cleanse him out by using an enema. So they would perform an enema on him on the plane while he's flying back over countries and everything. He's getting an enema. Yeah, it's crazy stuff. Oh, it's my guy's wedding. All the lovely ladies. Look at all the beautiful ladies at the wedding. Oh, Tori, you missed a lot. He said we never seen P. Diddy go inside of that jail or anything like that. Oh no, he's locked up, bro. He is locked up. Let me explain to you how cloning works so that we can get this they clone Tyrone thing out your mind. They cannot clone another grown person. That's not how cloning works. They have never figured that out. I can't walk into a place and then 30 minutes later, there's another person my age, my size, everything. That doesn't exist, people. That doesn't exist. There's no technology in the world. Now, what they could do is take some chromosomes from you and clone you and make another clone that way, but they has to grow up as a baby. Okay? They cannot do that. And here's what they don't tell you about the cloning process, because the first thing they ever cloned was a sheep. Remember? When they cloned the sheep and then the sheep died in like 6 months. Like wasn't even that. And then they cloned something else and then that died. And they wanted to know why they were dying so quick. The clones are dying quick. They couldn't figure it out. Then they figured it out. What was the problem? If they take a clone and make a clone of you right now, imagine at your age, like me, I'm in my 40s. So if they took a clone and make a clone of me now, that clone is starting off with 40-year-old genes. It's not starting off as a baby with baby genes. It's starting off with 40-year-old genes. Those things, because of the age of the sheep, when they cloned it, those genes started off at the age that the sheep was. So 6 months, 8 months later, that sheep was old. And it died off quickly. So now they know if they're going to do clones, they have to do it at the earliest stages of possible, like as a baby. If anything, that was a look-alike stand-in, but not a clone. Not a clone. So my girl was Johnny Gill's beard in Atlanta in the 90s. I knew him. She said, I knew when Pebbles retaliated against Chili because she was sleeping with L.A. Reid. She alleged that happened, and it might happen. But the thing of it is, he wasn't. Like, L.A. Reid was messing with Paula Abdul, and she beat the living hell out of him and tried to fight Paula Abdul. It was the craziest thing that ever went down. Trust me, Pebbles was not playing no games. Paula Abdul was scared to death. That's real talk. Like, everybody know that in the industry. I think I told y'all that already. So yeah, everybody know that. Like L.A. Reid, if you want to talk about somebody going down in the business, like, that would be another one. Yeah, Pebbles didn't play. Pebbles was crazy. He said, all right, I'm trying to tell them, bro. They can do that now, bro. They are cloning people, bro. You cannot do that. That's what I'm telling you. You telling me, like, man, I'm telling you, they could do that now. They cannot do that. Believe me, if they could do that, it would be, you would be bumping into clones every week. They would never lose somebody they love. He'll be back next week. He got popped in the head. We can't tell nobody he's dead. No, we don't. What we need to do is to fix this right now. Get the clone activated. They can't do it. They cannot do it. Cloning does not work that way. When you clone something, you have to make it into a gene. So you can't, it has to grow. Okay? It's an egg. You can't, it has to start and it has to grow. There is no to speed up the process of growing. Somebody got the Tyrone syndrome. Right. How you gonna do? So they just gonna have all your thoughts. What they gonna do? Hit a computer and just plug some in your brain and his brain, and it don't work like that, man. There's no way. It has to start off when you clone something. They're using it. The clone means they're cloning your genes. So your genome code, they know the genome code now, so they could clone it and make a clone of you. So it would have to grow as a baby, but that baby might not get past 6 years old before that baby dies, or from arthritis, might be brittle because the genes is old. So the genes starting off at 40 years old, it's unnatural. So they can't de-age genes. So now they know they have to clone at the very much in the early stages of birth. If they're going to do clones, they'll have to clone it when the person's a baby, 1 year old, takes in the genes and save it, because now you got good cloning genes that you could use that's young. I'm not saying we don't believe you. You got to make us believe it. Okay, you explain yourself then. You explain it. That's what I'm saying. You explain it to me. Since it works, you explain how it works. You just saying it works and these clones are out there. How are they out there? How would the clone have information? If they were to clone us, that clone wouldn't have your thoughts. The clone wouldn't have your brain, right? Since you want to speed up the process of the brain, how would it get knowledge of knowing who he is or who the person is whatsoever? You have to teach the clone to speak, teach them how to go to the bathroom, how to walk, how to everything. What are you talking about? It's just gonna know what to do and walk around. Y'all watching too many movies. It's not how cloning works. He's like, he thinking of Family Matters and stuff. Yes, they do. They take your stem cells and transfer it to a new clone. Yes, and your stem cells do not give you thought patterns to your brain. You know, no two brains are alike. You know that, right? Not even in twins. Identical twins, their brains are different. Everybody's brain has different patterns. So hopefully all of you guys have subscribed to this page. Hit the notification bell. Even if you're subscribed here and you've hit that like button, hit that notification bell. And hopefully all of y'all are on the Patreon, because, you know, that's where it really gets into the nitty gritty. We were going over the stuff on there. People couldn't believe it was on the Patreon. But I put it back up there on the Patreon so y'all can see it. Oh, yeah, we talked about it. The Kardashian success. And how they made it. And how they really living on loans. My picks for the day, I got to check on those. The Nate Jones story. Fat Joe and Jordan Brand shoe deal explained. You heard him bring it up on Club Shay Shay. I had to explain it to you, the whole world, how that whole business deal went down. Diddy got a break in the case. We saw that. We did the Lakers breakdown. Gil got twisted in his own lies. And the Jay-Z and Tata fight you never knew about. JJ and Tata got into a fight. Jay-Z beat Ty goofy ass. So yeah, join the Patreon, the Karceno for Life Patreon, man. The man who owned Jay-Z. Like I said, they never talk about those guys. Then we talked about business. What to know about business LLCs. And we decided to drop that knowledge on y'all. Part 1. Part 2 is coming up. Oh, yeah. The truth about sickle cells, it sucks. Basically took the life of a girl I was dating. She had sickle cells, and they told her she wasn't going to live when she was born, and she lived 20 years before she died. Everybody keep telling me like science and all this. It's science. It's science. I'm like, well, who invented science? It's scientifically. I was like, you don't believe there's a God? God shows you he's here every day. What are you talking about? I'm like, your science proves God existence. I had this conversation with people, and I'll tell it to y'all. This guy was a scientist who tried to tell me that science is not God, it's science. And I said, science proved that God exists. And he said, okay, well, I'm entertained. Prove it. It's like very easy. Everything around you is God. And your science is here. We, as human beings, we breathe oxygen, right? Without oxygen, we can't survive. What gives us oxygen on this planet? The trees, right? The trees give us oxygen. But the trees don't need oxygen to live. They need carbon, CO2, carbon dioxide, which we breathe out of our mouths. We breathe in oxygen, but breathe out carbon dioxide, which the plants need, the trees need to survive. Now, why would that be the case? Right? Why? God could have just made us just walk around, right? Why would we have to do that? Because we provide a circle of life. Our existence gives life to everything else around us. Just as everything else gives life to us. We're all needed. We need water. If without water, we will perish. The body will fail without water. And I was like, you could use your science to prove that God exists. I was like, look at us, gravity, right? We can measure gravity. You can go to a NASA room and measure gravity. Our bodies are exactly, the gravity level is exactly precise. 1% lower. 1%. And we probably wouldn't even be able to stand up straight. It would be like we didn't put on a 60-pound weight vest and somebody's pushing us down. 1% lower. Go up 1% higher, and you can like jump in the air like LeBron James almost. The gravity is exactly correct. The moon is exactly in a precision place used by science, perpendicular to the sun, that when the sun sets, the light reflects off the moon. The moon is dark. It is black. It's not white. The moon is black, and it reflects the light from the sun to the planet when the sun is out of reach. So that one, we have heat even at night, and we have light. And the science that you're talking about was created for the gods. The gods gave them the mathematics to do it. That's why they would design. There was no lights and candles. They would design their huts to where the sun would come in at and where the moon would come in. And they would capture the light from the moon by letting it, because if you've seen the pyramids are like a diamond. They're not shaped as a pyramid. When you walk into the pyramids of Giza and you go down, it's like a diamond where the light would come in through the top, hit the floor, and reflect back up. That's why it looks like the Luxor, where the light is going from the top all the way to the sky, that beam of light. That's why. So I don't have to prove God exists, because you can't prove to me that he doesn't. And on that note, Karceno is out. I support my brother, Solomon Hill, baby. He was just out there playing defense. It ain't his fault LeBron can't move his feet.